Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns 2. Today we have another Link to the Past randomizer Crossworld Keysanity tournament match. It is losers bracket round 7, Megawott the number 19 seed versus Relkin the number 53 seed, and tonight I am joined by DH and Jinxie Girl, and I will hand it off to you.
Thank you so much, Noriato. Am I coming through? Excellent. Hi, this is DH Stom, and with me tonight, as Noriato said, is Jinxie Girl. Jinxie, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Excited for some cross keys.
Awesome. So, let me ask you right away, is there anything that you want to see from this seed before we get started?
I want to see some interesting connectors. Like, lately, they've been getting the easy connectors over to Dark Misery Mire. I want to make them work for it today. I want them to have to get the flute and those titans.
Oh, goodness. That will be quite the adventure. I want to see them have to go to connectors in order to get that moon pearl. I want to see them have to bunny across that world.
Ooh, that's evil.
All right, and here we go. Starting off with a bottle inside Link's house. And a bee. I guess you can consider that a weapon, but probably not much of one.
Looks like Relkin is wasting no time to head up to Hyrule Castle and see what we have in this drop over here, as Megawott is doing our typical fake flipper over to our typical useless fairy drop.
Absolutely. So already Divergence, gotta love that. Got a 1 rupee drop from the tree. Probably won't see much of that much further. Megawatt heading over to the witch's hut. And Relkin has found darkness.
See our big chest room over at our witch's hut today.
Yeah, good to know, but not much.
Kind of a nice one to find, just because that's the only access we have to that big chest. So knowing where it is rather early is kind of nice.
Yeah, and if you get that bomb jump, you can kind of scoot over to the other side there. Relkin found a well. Yeah, that's going to be a nice early find as well. Well, it is.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try and get a nice tree pull here so that he can get that bomb wall. Megawatt finds our
key. And over that was the Lost Woods drop, I believe. Relkin's not... Oh. Don't see that often. It's a clever move, stealing that bomb to help hit those enemies. Megawatt decides to go ahead and cash in a little bit early.
Yeah, that hula hand trick is really nice to have some money before heading off to Kakariko Village, just so you could buy bombs should you come upon a vendor.
Absolutely. Megawatt now doing the same move up to Hyrule Castle, while Relkin is exploring what the well has to offer us. So far, not much. Skullwood's key, Ice Palace key, and another compass.
Yeah, typically when you get lucky with that Kakariko well super early, there's really not much to write home about.
All right, well, save and restart back at Link's house, and go in the south side.
The connector in the Light World hype cave here. Looks like Relkin's going to go ahead and explore where that takes us. Oh, the top of Hyrule Castle. That is an interesting connector.
That is a very interesting connector. So I don't quite have the equipment to get through that middle door yet. Gonna need Cape or Master Sword to do that, but still early. They're gonna definitely mark that one down. And yet another compass. We're getting all the compasses out of the way pretty early so far. Not necessarily the most exciting thing in the world, but at least you won't find more later.
Looks like we'll eventually have access to our escape, even without that sewer key.
Indeed. But overall, not really finding much quite yet. Have not quite found that connection. I think that we might be trending towards what you were hoping for. Finding that one connector that just leads us on a goose chase.
Speaking of connectors, Megawatt finds one. Not going to pursue that right away. Still got a lot of Kakariko to check out here. In the bottom of Spiral Cave, or Spectacle Rock.
Right.
See what our race game has.
Race has bombs. Not really something you need to hunt to. And Relkin now finds out about the other side of Lost Woods drop.
Yeah, unfortunately for Megawatt, he probably would have liked to be able to grab those bombs from the race game, as he has none at the moment, but I'm sure that'll change.
Oh, and we have Bonk Rocks, I believe, but just 10 arrows. And still plenty of Kakariko to explore. And Relkin's now going to get his Houlihan. So mostly just repeating what we've already seen. Megawatt's going to use his...
Wow, lucky bomb drop there.
Yeah. One bomb managed to get in order to get into this chat. It's going to give you a hint.
Well, that's an interesting hint. I know a lot of players don't typically like to do Ganon's Tower without that big key if they're going to do the left side, so knowing what's in that big chest is kind of more reassuring.
I had to admit I missed what it said. What was in the big chest?
A small key to Ganon's Tower.
Oh,
Looks
okay.
like we have Sahasrahla.
Ah.
And Swamp will be our green pendant for today.
Okay, so we'll see if that's in... Oh, a book! So if nothing else, they can make their way down and find out what that desert entrance is. That might be the key to unlocking this early part of the seed. And Backer Tavern just has 10 arrows. As Relkin checks out and sees the bombs. Oh, we've got the left side of Ice Cave, and it's just a piece of heart. So, still not quite something that's opening the seed up yet. I mean, the book is the closest thing they've gotten to any kind of a real item so far.
Probably going to get some pretty early information on what our pedestal is today.
Yeah, that sounds about right at this point. There's just, looking for something. I believe that is the ledge, and it's just a map.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge, not exciting. And it looks like our connector today just takes us to the top of Kakariko Village. So nothing exciting there.
All right. So what do you think they're thinking at this point? We're 7.5 minutes in. It's still pretty early, but you've gotten a book on Megawatt's side. You've gotten basically nothing on Relkin's side. Are you starting to think I really hope there wasn't just that this is going to be a really slog of a seed at this point? Is it too early to say that?
Oh, it's definitely too early. We have so many entrances here in the light world just to check alone. I think that game's really not going to open up for at least another 20 minutes. We're just going to be a lot of in and outs and kind of trying to get a route in order here. It looks like we have the Uncle, which unfortunately...
Oh, there is a Moon Pearl.
There's our Moon Pearl.
Okay, well, now we've got something interesting going on. And what does Uncle have? Lunch money.
Now, Uncle is typically the one you want to see back at the Lumberjack. We still haven't seen that useless fairy yet, so we might get lucky and not have an AGA 1 play. But we never know.
Okay.
King's Tomb on Megawatt's side.
King's key, Turtle Rock key. Oh, we can go open that big chest with a bomb jump. I believe you can get across there with a bomb jump, right?
Yeah, you can. It's technically not in logic yet, but what's logic in cross keys, right?
Exactly. Relkin now finding Sahasrara. Getting his book. Finding out the news about Swamp. And it's headed north. Relkin continuing to make checks that Megawatt's already done. But we may be on our way to finding out that pedestal information that you were talking about.
Magic bat hanging out over in the Last Woods.
Not a bad place for a bat. Just a big 20 sitting in the woods. Gonna go ahead and take that. And definitely headed towards the pedestal. All right. Moment of truth early on. Gonna get this out of the way right away. Do we have a pet seed? We do not. Probably a relief for the players. Not so much a relief for our audience. Don't worry, plenty of opportunities for our players to be trolled in many different ways. Yeah, Ganon on Lumberjack would be one of them.
We do already have one of those castle tower keys, so it would be just one key away.
The bush crabs seem to be dropping big 20s. I don't think money's going to be a problem this seed now.
A waterfall fairy with just some more money. Megawatt has that empty bottle. Didn't throw it in to see what the waterfall fairy would give him.
Did not. Check the back Lumberjack house. And just bombs on the Lumberjack ledge. Yeah. So Lumberjack is out of play as well. Relkin picks up his Moon Pearl. Megawatt wants more of that big money from those crabs.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have your 500 ready for Zora should you choose to do it.
Yeah, still a little ways away from that as far as getting there. Still need the flippers or glove. That's going to happen at any time.
So we have a 50-50 shot of Ganon being vanilla this seed. Oh, there's Sick Kid, and they got it. Has that.
Oh, that stole his lunch money. And better buy some nice food for all these people once the seed's over, because he's just stealing their lunch money left and right.
Big 300 over on Hylia Island.
Yeah. With this seed, I'm guessing they probably won't go out of their way to go back and get that when the time comes. And Megawatt heading over to Eastern Palace area. Gonna check out these caves.
Well, there's Hookshot Cave today. That is a connector.
Yes.
Megawatt hasn't really been checking his connectors right away. We haven't yet seen one that takes us to the Dark World or to the
Death Mountain.
Just went blank. Words are hard. Death Mountain, yeah.
Yep. Let's say Relkin checking out.
Oh, the bow can be found in Ganon's Tower today.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's see. And if Ganon's Tower does indeed end up being the path leading to Ganon, 50% chance as it is right now, then that will be required. We might actually see a lot of GT cleared today.
Ooh, our blacksmith over in Eastern Palace today. What a gross location. Kind of tells me maybe we're going to get that flute pretty early on. Just typically, I've noticed in seeds when that blacksmith is kind of far and away, the flute tends to turn up a little sooner than usual.
Okay. I gotta say, I'm proud of that blacksmith, because they've got to have a good business running if they're able to operate such a nice, lavish palace.
Oh, and there's
speaking of,
Easter.
it's just shifted off a little bit. Relkin enjoying the bush money. Well, that's not really going to get them much further. Just 1 rupee in that first chest. Okay. Megawatt finds a key to Palace of Darkness. 1 down, 5 to go. Otherwise known as Palace of the Logic Makes My Head Hurt.
Oh, Relkin finding the chess game.
It's vanilla. Just a piece of heart. Oh, Relkin does have a heart container advantage right now. Not that you really need that many hearts in Eastern Palace. But it also looks like Relkin is well on our way. We're actually following the path provided by the game with that book. Might head over to Agana and then to check out that Desert Palace entrance. So we'll get some new information here.
Yeah, that's an easy entrance to forget you have access to when you have that book.
Mm-hmm. Megawatt, breaking the logic, going beyond. But this is the easiest lampless path to learn in the game, so nobody's going to not do this when they're here. I believe that was just a big 20. Did I see that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Big key to Ice Palace.
Indeed. I believe we also got a small key for Ice Palace earlier in the well. So that might be in our future. Not that we can get past the first room right now. You know, that one thing at a time. And Relkin checking out the entrance to Criteria. Oh, that's where Sick Kid is.
Looks like Megawatt's going to start checking his connectors now. We're going to get a look to see what is on the other end of Hookshot Cave.
That makes sense, because between Eastern and Desert, with no immediate access to Death Mountain at this point, I think that going through a connector is the next step in our journey.
And speaking our first look at the Dark World.
Yes, and Death Mountain, all at once. Ether to open Turtle Rock entrance. Do not have any kind of glove, much less Titan's mitts. Oh!
Wow, boots are a really nice find.
Yes, it is. Man. Gotta love finding those in the first 30 minutes of the game, 20 minutes. Definitely helps you out. And the first thing you find with boots is a Cave of Darkness. And lots of holes. And Megawatt's had enough of that. Probably going to start checking some of these bonk rocks. Now with the newfound shiny boots. And we have the Cuckoo Hut. Which is just a vanilla heart container piece. I believe that's what that is in vanilla, right?
I think it's arrows.
Arrows? Oh, well. So it's arrows. Well, today it's a heart container piece. That's an upgrade. And Megawatt is going back to this drop down while Relkin is now finding Eastern Palace. Oh, that's right. Megawatt did not have a bomb the first time he went in here. So good on them to remember. Unfortunately, not very well rewarded for that note. We got a little bit of downtime, basically kind of rechecking same places. I wanted to recap real quick, if you don't mind, how these two gentlemen got to this place in the tournament. Megawatt had a first round bye before beating Incoherent and Checkshuman. Then unfortunately ran into Korek, who knocked down to the lower brackets. Went on to beat Furame and Hitsuyon. Relkin, on the other hand, basically did not have a first round bye, beat Ridley Dragon, Violet Pumpkin, Illusion Gem, before running into Goomba, who is here with us in chat. And this is Relkin's actually first match down in the lower brackets. So, this is how they got here, and it is win or go home. Relkin finding his boots now.
Megawott finds the back of the old man connector, which takes him over to Light World Death Mountain.
Oh, interesting. But not interesting enough. And Megawatt continuing to do the, hey, I didn't have bombs, let me go back and find it checks, is going to go through and check on this connector from Salhas's house. Oh, that's right. This was how we got up here to the castle. Not much we can do up here right now, though. I suppose he could have had his fortune told.
Looks like as of right now, our choices are taking on the Lionels over to get to Dark Death Mountain for 2 entrances. That's gross.
Yes, very
over
gross.
at the Ice Rod Cave area, or the Bonk Rocks by Vanilla Sanctuary.
And I would think that with where Megawatt is and with those boots and the number of caves to check, that Ice Rod area is probably going to be the one. Oh, Relkin actually finding that hookshot cave before finding the boots, then the hookshot cave. Had the wherewithal to check that chest. I missed what it was, though.
Just some bombs.
That's disappointing, but it's a good thought. It's one of those checks where if it had been something real, I'm not sure when Megawatt would have thought of that. All right. Relkin on their way up while Megawatt has opened the Desert Palace entrance and is going to find out what we found out earlier. That it's an empty house. And that's just a great fairy on the left side. On the right side, we've got... Oh, desert entrance. And this is quite a find, too, especially considering they have boots.
Yeah, there's definitely going to have to be progression here. We are down to the bare minimum.
Well, it's also 2 more exits.
Yeah.
And I stand corrected. Megawott was definitely thinking about this. Should not assume anything. With oh my goodness, look what's there. Do you see a big shiny item there?
I do, and that now gives us a connector over to Death Mountain because we do have the front of that old man if they sequence break.
Absolutely. Megawatt, on the other hand, has decided to brave the Lionels and has made it, just barely.
Yeah, using that bomb boost to take damage so that he would be invincible going through those Lionels, definitely a great play there.
Absolutely. Finds that fairy and has gone into Spike Cave, and it's just the cellar. And doesn't really find anything there, though. But can continue to explore this area of Dark Death Mountain. Whereas Relkin is going to find out where this east exit goes for Desert Palace.
Oh, you can get that mushroom, Megawatt.
Yeah, almost saved and quit. Almost saved and quit.
Relkin finding that nice connector up to Mimic Cave.
Absolutely, but has found a dark cave at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, without that mirror, it's not quite as useful, but definitely a great one to find.
And chooses to save and quit instead of going back into desert. Not sure about that play.
Yeah, Boy is at hookshot now, so he's going to go straight to hookshot cave, I'm sure, and see what.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is why I'm sitting here and not playing. Just a big 20 in that first chest. Heart piece. And silver arrows. Technically progression, but let's face it, this deep in the tournament, no one actually needs those. And when I say progression, I mean technically, logically required to beat the game. I know I need them to beat the game still. But that's because I'm a filthy scrub.
All right, our final drop down that's going to tell us what's behind Aga 2. Oh, it's our useless fairy. That means Aga 2 is 100% required for Ganon.
Absolutely. We have a vanilla Ganon. 300 rupees in that Turtle Rock big chest as Relkin uses that newfound hook shot to get across the gap and is now exploring Turtle Rock. 300 more rupees in the roller room. Once again, money, not really an issue this seed.
Megawatt finds Super Bunny Cave, the gross entrance. So this is going to be a one-way trip for him, but this is 2 items.
It is 2 items, and we'll see where it goes after. Relkin making his way backwards. Going to get that other key. We'll see if he just steals the key or if he actually uses it here.
I don't know that he can get this key.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, weaponry is an issue.
Oh, and that is a very nice connector, which takes us up to Dark Death Mountain, where we're going to need that mirror, but it's good to know.
Yeah, Relkin tried to beat that Pokey with a bee. The bee's like, I don't think so. I'm just gonna leave. This place is pretty hot. You know, I don't like it here. Just kind of flew off. continuing to make his way backwards through Turtle Rock, while Megawatt is on his way to finding that desert entrance, which I think will change the game for him as well.
Relkin's going to have to be really careful here.
Oh, yeah, you can't take any hits here at all. These chain shots. Oh, he got licked to death. But I think that he was pretty much out of progression at that point.
Yeah, that was definitely an intentional death warp.
Oh, and Relkin doing the jump to get over to the other side and is going to explore. I don't think that's in logic, right? I mean, I know that you can boost over as part of logic normally, but I don't think that specific jump is meant to be in logic.
Well, as long as you can kill the pokies, it's just kind of a shortcut because he does have that hook shot, so he can get across. So yeah, technically it's in logic.
Interesting. Although he can't kill the pokies, he does not have weaponry to do that.
He could with bombs.
Oh, bombs, right.
Yeah, Recitador is definitely right. It is not very nice logic, but it's logic nonetheless.
Yeah. But as you pointed out, Incoherent says that it's 100% free. It's a fairly easy clip. I think even I could do it. So, if I can do it, most people can do it. Megawatt checked out the left side exit. Didn't really like what he saw and is now headed towards the east exit. Relkin continuing to check Dark World.
Now, Megawatt has information that Relkin doesn't. He knows where the back of that old man cave is and that he has access to get over to Death Mountain. And with that hook shot, he has a lot more exploring he can do, which is a slight advantage to Relkin at the moment. Relkin finding the back of that bumper cave, which we know only takes us to desert and not anywhere near Dark Misery Mire. So let's get a look at what is in Dark Kakariko today.
Yes, the village of the outcasts. Will that cast out? Oh, we've got Hyrule Castle. We've got some hardware for here. Let's see what
5 bombs is a little. But we do have a stun item, so it might be all right.
Oh, but finding mirror.
Wow.
Payoff. Absolutely gorgeous. I know that's what I think when I see a mirror, but that's not true whatsoever.
And that gives Relkin access to Death Mountain as well, because he has found that connector through Hookshot Cave. So now that slight advantage Megawatt had to get some exploring done a little bit before Relkin is now gone.
Indeed. So, I know that Megawatt has that mushroom he found in library. Where was that library? Because Relkin did not go there.
I don't know.
Okay.
I want to say it was over Dark Death Mountain on the left-hand side, but I could be wrong.
That sounds great. So there's a lot of checks over in Death Mountain and Death Mountain. They got access to both of them pretty extensively in a very short amount of time. So that's going to be an area where you could have a very easy miss in that area. At least that's my experience watching a lot of these races. These are pretty high-end racers, though, so they probably got some pretty thorough notes, good memories. So I'm sure they'll be on top of it.
I really like that play by Relkin. They're utilizing that graveyard ledge entrance so that he could refill his bombs.
Yeah, that was clever. I'm going to fill his bottle too here at Great Ferry. Or Pyramid Ferry, rather. Oh, blue. That's pretty.
Megawatt finding our C-shaped house is one of our entrances on Death Mountain.
I prefer calling that the Dino Head House.
Oh, there's that
what?
potion shop. Looks like Megawatt has found our old man cave.
Indeed. I still call the C-shaped shop the Dino Head House. If you look at it, it looks like a dinosaur head. It really does.
I have to pay attention next time.
Megawatt exploring light Death Mountain. Dodging around those evil squirrels that turn to stone.
Oh, Relkin is going to be able to use that mirror he got with this connector and tell us what's on top of Hylia Island. This is
true.
This is cool. Oh no,
Yeah.
he's not doing it. No, go back.
Oh, such a tease. Goodness. That's I can understand, you know, you've got this access potentially up here in order to be able to see what's on ledge.
Yeah, it's definitely a fair play. Megawatt has our old man, and he is returning him to get his big key to Skullwoods.
Yep. Okay, we have Paradox. Did Megawatt already get this? We've already seen this, haven't we?
No.
Oh, okay. Tara, Heron, Ice Palace are our 5 and 6 crystals today.
Ooh, small key to Hera.
And Quake. Big 20 there. Another key to Skull Woods. And Thieves Town.
Wow. Paradox Cave with all the small keys today.
Yeah. Definitely have a trip to Tower of Hera in our future. Definitely gonna take advantage of those keys. And gonna go ahead and check Team's Tomb entrance. It is the Brothers Connectors. While Megawatt finds a clue for Bombos.
That could be important if we don't end up having a fire rod for Ice Palace.
That's true.
Ooh, back at desert.
Yep. Now this is interesting. Relkin steals the key. There's a chance that Relkin might think about mirroring and using that key. Oh, but not until he checks these Thieves Town chests. And never mind on Bombos. Because that's Fire Rod.
Very nice.
And there is our Power Glove. Thieves is 2 for 2 for really nice items. Megawatt checking Agana, just getting a big 20. And let's see, will we go for 3 here? Hammer! Oh my
goodness. What is this seed?
And a compass. You couldn't have finished it off. But still, like Thieves Town absolutely loaded in the front. The longer it takes Megawatt to get back there, the worse it's going to be. Relkin taking advantage of that newfound lifting power. Did he mean to do that? I guess so. Oh, Tower of Hera. Oh my goodness, this east side area is just insane with value. Oh my goodness, and right away we get the Titan's Mitts. Right out of Hera.
And with a fire source and that key, Relkin's going to go ahead and take his coffee break here.
Yep. There's Megawott making his way to Zelda's cell. It's a good point by Seru. That Titan's Mitt was indeed actually locked by the Power Glove, so progression was not the word today. Let's see what the basement holds. Oh,
Wow.
The other desert key. Everything just right in this area. Absolutely no reason not to just immediately go in desert and check. And just some bombs in the first chest. Oh, not quite close enough to... And bombs in the second chest. That wasn't nearly as exciting as it could have been, but I think we had plenty of excitement with Thieves Town, so... You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, Relkin now has a permanent weapon with that hammer, which is a pretty big advantage. Megawatt's going to give us a look at what's in that dark cross chest.
Yeah, hopefully we see it since this is completely in the dark. Still have not found that lamp. Not terribly surprising we haven't found the lamp. And now we see the result. Oh, we saw that in Hera that the hint said that Mimic Cave leaves the Mimic Cave. So this is not technically a surprise. And key to pod. And big key to Eastern Palace is in Dark Cross. And Relkin has found Thieves' Basement. This is nice. 5 chests down here. Let's see what we find. Taking advantage of that mirror. GT small key. And otherwise junk. And a heart piece. Oh, and we just found out what happens when you turn in that mushroom as Megawatt gets a mail upgrade.
This is a lot of new checks for Relkin here, having
Absolutely.
those Titans and that hammer.
Finding Spike Cave.
Spike Cave.
No way to do that right now. Not with 5 hearts and no invincibility items. Even though it does have hammer and hook shot. And there's the old man cave. Megawatt's going to take advantage of that loads of money that they're sitting on. Finds the ferry and buys some bomb capacity. Considering how his seeds started early, I'm not surprised at all by that. Yep. And the other side of Race Hut just has the think that's the thief that's underneath the rock on the way to desert. And do a dig game, though. See, look, it's a dinosaur head. Is it not dinosaur head? It's absolutely a dinosaur head.
That's fair.
Okay, it's not just me. Okay. That's right. The bed is the eye. C-shaped house. That's so unoriginal. Relkin, using that potion he found. Oh, did we get a GT big key? Was that what was in 45?
No, that was the bottom of Spiral Cave.
Okay. Well.
The big key was in the dig game.
Oh, the big key was in dig game. Okay.
Another pod small key off Stumpy.
Let's see here. What's that up to? 3 now across our runners?
Yep.
Ah, starting to get close to the logic there. Not that you can get all the way through that. They still need to find where GT is. That Ganon's tower, not only is it going to be absolutely required to get to Ganon, but we also know from earlier hints that that's where our bow's at. Oh, Megawott is going to go through the back of Skull Woods. And just find some bombs in that first chest. And with no sword, that's about as far as they can get. It's going to check out Hype Cave. Relkin changing his mind on Castle Tower. Hyrule Castle, rather. Speaking of Castle Tower, there's that second key. Opening of Hype Cave. And otherwise, heart container and not really much else interesting there.
Vanilla Hype Cave at that.
Indeed. I just now picked up on that too. Mirror in hand is going to go check out. Well, I don't really have to do mirror here. Oh my goodness. The Swamp Palace entrance has frozen over. Unfortunately, Megawatt does not yet have that fire rod, has not gone east from here and found that absolute mother lode. You got to think that that's probably where they're going next, though. Relkin has
Pod
found
in Tower of Hera today.
Absolutely, and then that Bombos tablet just has a map for us today, so not to worry. Yeah, this seed has definitely not been friendly when it comes to the fact that there's no swords. Obviously, hammer is a nice substitute once Megawatt gets around to that. Oh, going north. Might not actually be head to the east side after all.
Doesn't look like our book is really good for anything today other than to let us know there are nothing but useless items behind it.
And let me tell you, kids, books are so much more better than this. Do not let this game influence you on the magic that is reading. All right, no comment on that one. And Relkin finally found where that mushroom is potentially eventually going to get that mail upgrade. Not really a huge concern at this point, though. Both of our racers are on death mountain in the dark world. Okay. Right when I say that, Megawatt's like, no, light world. How it goes. And it's going to check out the thieves' basement and find a what's in most people's basement, and that's just a bunch of leftover junk that nobody thinks about. Welkin is headed east. There's the entrance to Hyrule Castle.
Small key on the floating island today.
Yeah, let's see what comes of that. Relkin is going to go ahead and open up Turtle Rock entrance. We know from earlier that it's ether, so it won't actually be opening up the actual entrance.
So I'm going to be able to check that rock here that Megawatt wasn't able to check yet.
That's true. At Titan's Mitt. Oh, opening up a shop. I think it's one of the more interesting things about entrance compared to standard and open and the other modes is that, for all those other modes, you're used to Titan's Mitts being like the key to opening up a major part of the seed. But for entrance, that's not always the case. There's actually many times when Titans is not even required. It's very different mentality.
Megawatt does have a few keys here and a potion, so I wonder if we're going to see a potion glitch on Megawatt's side.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And in case you, for some reason, didn't get that bottle from the Link's house, it gives you a bottle of its own so that you can come back and skip it later. Still not technically logic, but it's basically just begging you to come and skip that area.
So far, nothing exciting in Pod. Relkin does find Ice Palace, but doesn't go in. I believe that said the rows of pigs lead to Turtle Rock. It went by a little quickly.
I missed that. Not that there's a whole lot of... they're not lacking for entrances to Turtle Rock. Mostly what they really need there is Samaria. Okay, Hammer Pegs is a Turtle Rock entrance. But they've found every other entrance to Turtle Rock. Although one of them they found by going out it. So I don't think that Turtle Rock's peg entrance is actually going to be required in this seed. And Relkin is going to find that. Oh, Megawatt finds powder. Let's see, Magic Bat, I believe was in Lost Woods, correct?
Correct.
You remember? Yes. Megawatt checks the darkness, finds some bombs, and a heart container. And Relkin is going to go ahead and upgrade capacities. And Megawatt is going to do this bomb jump. Do they have the big key to pod?
No.
Okay. So it's just going after those smaller chests.
Yeah, 2 chests. You're right here. I don't blame him. This is a good play. As long as it's, so far pod hasn't paid off, so hopefully there's something good down here. So far, no.
Yeah, I mean, powder's not the worst thing in the world to have, but it's hardly something that they're going to be excited about. Burn is not bad either, Not percussion, but, not the worst consolation prize.
Does open up Spike Cave.
That's true. We did find Spike Cave earlier.
And Laser Bridge.
And logically, I think they've already cleaned that out, though.
Not Laser Bridge yet.
They didn't?
No.
Okay.
We haven't found that one yet. That might be behind our hammer pegs.
Ah, that's true. Megawatt finding that bumper cave. And Relkin finding a death warp.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he did that.
I'm not sure either. It looks very purposeful. Megawatt finding or deciding to explore part of Skull Woods. Yeah. And we are nearly an hour in. And we still don't actually have any bosses down. I know that when the time comes, they'll start coming in really quickly. But so far, it has not actually happened yet. There's not really many bosses we have great access to at this point. And part of that's just because we really don't have that many big keys either. And there are also still a couple of outstanding dungeons out in the world.
We have found a significant amount of our item locations so far.
Yes, we have. Megawatt still definitely needs to go over to that dark ice cavern east side area. Just holds so many answers to this seed right now. Not that Megawatt's really that far behind. I'm not even sure I would say it's behind, but definitely that will unlock some things for Megawatt at this point. As we see Relkin taking advantage of the hammer that he found.
And there's our laser bridge.
Absolutely. Yes. Unfortunately, Relkin does not have that burn cane.
Oh, I don't think he needs it.
Does not look like he needs it. I would be one very angry blacksmith frog, though, if I was taken into the laser bridge. And like, no, this is fine. We're safe. We're good. Just follow my lead.
I am wondering if Relkin's going to go ahead and mirror here and check the back of escape for us. Oh, there's flippers.
We had flippers. We had ether, which unlocks that Turtle Rock entrance, and just some bombs there. And yeah, then taking the death, the fastest way to get out. And getting out of there, and gotta think at some point, he's got that blacksmith who's gonna have to take him to Blacksmith Palace. One thing that has not come true, that was a prediction that we made earlier in the seed, is we still have not seen that flute. Access around this game is still a little bit limited right now. And you can basically get everywhere, but it's not very convenient.
Megawatt picking up his surplus of small keys, very important ones,
Along with
being
that
here at
quake.
Thievestown.
Quake, which is could be useful, but probably not. Odds are not in our favor.
Megawatt's not checking those connectors either, but this is good news for him because he is going to take this connector, hopefully, and get down to that dark shopping mall.
Hopefully, he comes out here, sees what it is, and is like, "Okay, yeah, I need to stay here."
Well, yeah, he's going to get stuck because he doesn't
Absolutely.
have that mitt yet, so he's all right.
Oh, well, he's going to find that mitt any minute. Yeah, that was absolutely the best thing that could have happened to him. Megawatt getting the first of his treasure trove. That fire rod, then the power glove. It's got to be kind of a mix at this point, just thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm finding all these things. It's going to be great. At the same time, this stuff's been sitting over here for how long and I've had access to it? You just got to think in the back of your head, how long has my opponent had this? Do they have it yet?
Yeah, Mirror was in the first chest of Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
Still no swords at 1 hour in, so no item dashes currently, but eventually we'll get there, I'm sure.
Yeah, no swords. Still haven't found GT. Still have no bosses beat. Still have no Samaria. Still no lamp. Several big keys still missing. Yeah. Still a ways to go. As Megawatt picks up his Titan mitts.
Broken with some really nice routing here, getting in a lot of double checks with that mirror.
Hobo only has 10 arrows.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him clean up this entire eastern side, routing in the Dark Pod area and going up to Catfish and routing in Zora and everything, just getting it all done in one clip.
It wouldn't surprise me either, especially considering he's had that blacksmith in tow for a while. Yeah, I got to imagine that blacksmith's got to be annoyed every time Relkin goes back to Dark World. And it's like, hey, I'm finally back to my normal form, but now I have to be a frog again. All right, Lightside Ice Palace is the arrow game. And then there's the entrance to Paradox. Which Relkin is going to take. And actually, right now it's Megawatt making their way all the way over towards the Catfish area. At first, we find the tower.
Unfortunately, he hasn't picked up those flippers yet, so he will just be able to check Zora.
I think the lack of flippers and finding this and having, I believe, both keys already has just made this the, absolute choice. But it's not going to finish it. Just wants those chests.
Yeah, the only thing that Aga 1 is really going to open is that locked room on top of Hyrule Castle, and I think they would probably much rather wait for the cape or some swords.
Yeah.
Small
Turtle
key
Rock
to
key
Turtle Rock.
and
Over
45.
the key 45.
Yeah. Let's see what Catfish has. A map. I'm guessing a very soggy map to Turtle Rock. Oh, wet paper's the worst. All right.
Yeah, Relkin unfortunately is going to delete the Smith if he goes through and does Kiki. So he's going to go ahead and save his port here so he can go and safely return him and then open
That was
pod.
a good thought. Yep. Can't do that. You cannot have a full parade of people. I kind of wish they'd make that mode in the randomizer just to see like the entire chain of what you could make if that was possible. But
how does that make sense, Glow? Glow.
All right,
sometimes-
this better be rich because they've got a whole palace. This blacksmith's palace. They've got to pay off. Oh, a heart piece. That's.
Small key over on the pyramid. Just a pod, but always nice to find those pod keys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. That's at least 4, if not 5, of those keys we found at this point. You've got to think that that's really just screaming like, yeah, full pod access is going to be something that you're going to want. But we also know that logically you need the bow to get through there, and it's still in GT. We have not found GT yet.
I have a feeling we're about to.
How about Misery Mire and Misery Shed? We have yet to find any Misery Mire keys, I don't believe. Don't have big key. I guess we do have a small key, don't we? Oh, no, I'm reading this wrong. We actually have a lot for that, don't we?
No, we don't have the small key or the big key yet, or the Cane of Samaria, but we do have a fire source and access to 1 key under the pot, so Megawott is going to be able to clear a significant amount. He's unfortunately going to have to leave behind 2 items, 1 on the boss.
Okay. All right. GT on this tracker is on the bottom, and so I was off by a space.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't worry. Being off in space is something very regular for me. It's all fun. So it does not get the item on Vitreous and does not get the big chest item, but it's going to be able to check that left side and see, what that fire locked area has. Yeah, that's 2 heart containers in Misery Mire, as has been pointed out in chat. There's a bit of a health disparity between their players at this point. Megawatt definitely has a bit of a heart container lead, along with having that mail upgrade. Definitely is going to have a little bit more breathing room moving forward in the short term. Double the hearts, double the mail. Might not do them much good at the moment. Gotta be very careful. Oh, finding half magic. Meanwhile, Relkin is going to go ahead and grab these 2 chests here in Castle Tower. Megawatt had a fairy in a bottle. Yep. Double the magic at this point as well. Gotta think maybe double the fun. Relkin is about to find, I think, a couple of those heart containers as well. So we'll be back into it soon. Granted, with runners of this caliber, you know, I'm sure that Relkin can still be perfectly fine. And that was a wait for just some arrows. As Relkin is going to get his soggy map. And you have a map check, and Turtle Rock and Thieves Town are both crystals. Relkin going to take advantage of those flippers. And we got the drop down cave below Spectacle Rock, where he's going to find Bombos. So we are completely safe when it comes to medallions in this now. All right, and now we have a trip up to Zora. Gonna see what's going on up here and see. Oh my goodness, it's another map. Not exactly going to. Relkin grabbed another heart container himself as well, so it's still a 6-heart advantage there. And Zora, that is a $50 per bomb. $50 per bomb. You cannot. Sorry, rupees per bomb. You can't leave those behind. Yes. 10 bombs, 500 rupees, 50 rupees per bomb. You got to make the most of those. You cannot leave those behind. But he did. Oh, and Relkin is going to go down Magic Bat Cave and check out the back of sewers. And that's a big key to Thieves Town.
Ooh, now we can full clear that.
Absolutely. And if the back of Thieves Town was anything like the front of Thieves Town, you got to think that there's got to be some goodness going on. Might find that fabled double mint gun back there. Chat looking for double mint gun after the excitement of all the doubling going on. They indeed do keep the really good stuff in the back. Unless it's a tavern, in which case then it was just kind of
Yeah, Relkin beelining it for Thieves Town here.
Yep. Megawatt has not actually made it to Laser Bridge yet.
He's not going to from this way, but he does have that fire rod, so he is going to be able to check that pokey chest that we didn't get to see on Relkin's side.
It's true. Not to mention 15 bombs, but don't need that when you got fire rod. Relkin's not wasting any time using that big key to Thieves Town. Is going to go ahead and clear out the rest of this. Don't blame them one bit. I'm going to go ahead and use that key right away. No reason not to an entrance. In standard and open modes, that key is very often just stolen, and that chest is abandoned for as long as humanly possible. Does not happen as much in entrance. Yeah.
And Magic Bat just leads to our red boomerang today.
So, powder is basically just going to be useful for fairies. We have seen our runners take advantage of that already this seed, so... Now, the first chest in the back of these only produces a big 20. Not really worth it so far.
I have a feeling we're going to pull a big key out of Thieves Town today.
I think, I was actually thinking that we might finally get a sword.
This is going to be a new entrance that we haven't yet gotten to see, the top of Bumper Ledge, which is just a great fairy, unfortunately.
Yep. Not so great today. Thank you for your service, Great Fairy, but no thanks. Didn't even take the time to fill up.
Oh, there is Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yes, this has promise. Oh my goodness. We were both wrong. It is a flute in the back of Thieves Town in the cell. Toot, toot. There's the flute. And a big
That
chest
gives
is
us
just big
access
20.
to Dark Misery Mire, which I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to find Ganon's Tower today.
Okay. Not a ton of entrances back there, but they are some of the few that we have not checked yet. And Megawatt finds the other side of that Spectacle Rock drop cave and sees one of the medallions, Bombos, he does not have yet. All right, what's today's pun?
Now that does give us 7 entrances over in Dark Misery Mire. Unfortunately, without a sword, we're not going to be able to open up Misery Mire. So it is 6 quick entrances that we are going to be able to check.
It's true.
Relkin let go of that. Yeah, he let go of his fairy too when he took that death warp, unfortunately.
He did. And it's just going to nope out of there for now. It's one of the things as well that Megawatt, when it was in pod, went into the dark area and picked up that cane of Burna. Would have been pretty handy for Relkin to have right there. I know it's one of my preferred ways to beat blind. Especially over a hammering when there's 2 heads floating around. Relkin is unlocking the duck. And then immediately not flying. Okay, there we go.
We're going to go back into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's an interesting play.
Oh, he's going to take that connector back to the top of Dark Bumper.
That makes sense.
I think at this point, with all the items he has, that he's really anxious to find GT.
I would be too. We're nearly an hour 20 minutes into this as Megawatt finds the last entrance to Turtle Rock. Not very useful besides a hint. Whereas Relkin has now found that Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, that is a very interesting hint. Ganon's Tower leads to the dam today.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, that's that's green pendant though.
It
So
is green
course.
pendant, but that
Of course
means
it's a pendant.
we aren't going to be dipping swamp today unless something really, really terrible happens.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the only way that would have been a problem is if Ganon was behind the lumberjack and our last castle tower key was in swamp, which I have seen happen.
Mm-hmm.
Although swamp could be holding three swords, so they might have to do it. There's still hope, but no one would wish that on anyone because that's just gross and mean. And I actually calmed a race where
Relkin
that very thing had to happen.
Oh yeah.
They had all 7 swords, or all 7 crystals, but only starter sword. So it was sword go mode.
Oh man, I've seen it. It's painful. And Relkin gonna give this another shot. Got grabbed the first time. Megawatt is about to find that laser bridge and is going to be rewarded with flippers and ether tablet or medallion, not the tablet. That'd be really heavy to pull around. Granted, you know, Link's really strong, carries around this stuff anyways. So. And there's ether. There's flippers. I'm still very surprised that Relkin did not immediately use that flute to go to the Maya area. But
Yeah,
I guess
that is an interesting play. There's
You know?
so many items accessible on Ganon's tower right now.
Megawatt finally found that big key to Thieves Town. And I can't imagine they're not immediately on their way there. Not a whole lot going on in Skullwood still.
Yeah, no, Skullwoods was just gross and stupid.
Yep. And they can't even get to Mothula. So we were approaching an hour and a half in this seed. We're at 122 right now. And we still have no bosses down. And I've seen a lot of these seeds, and I see them go like 3 hours sometimes. I don't think this is going to be a 3-hour seed. I just think it's, usually you see like 1 or 2 bosses maybe if it's a kind of a slog early seed. I feel like it's a little bit rare to see this long go by before no sword, no bosses. It might just be me. Maybe this is more common than I think. Admittedly as well, we should have had a boss down because blind. But unfortunately, Relkin died on that fight. I'm going to guess that Megawatt does not have the same issue between the excess hearts and that blue male and Canaburna. I think that in the next couple minutes... Oh, speaking of blue male, Relkin picks up his. But I think Megawatt's well on his way to giving us our first boss kill of this seed.
Megawatt getting that information about the magic bat.
Mm-hmm. Relkin finally clearing out the basement of Hyrule's castle. Don't think there was anything down here, though. I can't imagine the pain at this point, because like both of our racers got our boots very, very early. I think that Megawatt has had them for over an hour now. And without any swords, they still can't actually like sword dash. And that's got to be so annoying.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since we've already accounted for so many of our item caves. I think the only one we haven't seen is Spike Cave and Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah. And Relkin, see, runs straight into an enemy and gets bopped because no sword. See, Megawatt is about to pick up their flute, and Relkin still checking, going through connectors. It still just boggles my mind. Relkin is still not using that flute yet. I just got to think that Megawatt will probably actually use that right away. But I'm stymied by Relkin's play here, so yeah. I'm sure there's a method to the madness.
Oh, we finally get to see that small key is to Ganon's tower up on the floating island.
Megawatt doing it right, ending that fight. We have our first boss kill. 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 48 seconds into this seed. One down.
Oh, Spike Cave with Arcana Samaria.
That's big. That is big. That opens a lot. Now you got to think at this point. Granted, like what I would do, what I would be thinking about, Turtle Rock. But that's me. I am about to give up on guessing what Relkin is going to do.
Yeah, that's 3 checks he can get pretty quickly.
Absolutely. It also means that when the time comes and they do find GT, likely over in my area, that's a lot more checks you can do because that is accessing the right side at that point. All right, Relkin going back. Yep, is headed straight to Turtle Rock. Is going to check this first area. It's fire rod locked. Oh, checking this chest first, of course. And it's another bottle with some cherry Kool-Aid. Megawatt is making those flipper checks, having just recently acquired those on Laser Bridge. It's a good point in Coherent. Without that eyesight, oh my goodness! With 24 seconds until an hour and a half into this seed, we have a sword. The first sword in the game has been found on the right side of Turtle Rock. And right away, you got to think. Let's see here. You can open up medallions, entrances. You can open up the back of Skull Woods. But Relkin finally looks at his map, sees that Pod is also a crystal, along with what we saw earlier for Turtle Rock and Thieves Town. Of course, we know Thieves Town's a crystal because Megawott cleared it. But Relkin is now exploring the Mire area.
Wow, Ganon's tower has a lot of important things today. Well, of course, we don't know if Misery Mire is a crystal yet.
It's true. We do not quite know that. The only pendant we have confirmed is Green Pendant in Swamp, which is GT locked, or GT entrance locked, and unlikely to be needed. And so far, not quite there. Check out Checkerboard Cave. Everybody do the checkerboard check. And yet another pick a chess game. Okay, I didn't know we had two of those. All right.
What if GT is on the top of Hyrule Castle?
Oh, wow. Because I think they're out of entrances except for the main one now. Luckily, Relkin found that sword. If they'd listened to us in the first place, they would not have had the sword. Exactly what Megawatt's doing right now. So there's a possibility, especially if this is GT and everything else is junk, that's going to just, all you find here is the hint otherwise. There it is!
There it is.
Oh, wow. So you had to find the flutes. But the flute wasn't required. You had to get some Maria. Oh, wow. How about another sword? Master Sword. Right away. Said like, hey, you finally solved this puzzle.
Sword block sword.
Yeah. And that's crazy. Have to hammer out of Thieves Town in order to get to... And then Samaria... Well, technically, Samaria is still not in logic. Technically, this is still completely out of logic because they should not have the... My mind just completely went blank. The Burnick... to get through Spike Cave.
They have 3 bottles.
They have 3 bottles and all those hearts. Is that considered logic at this point?
Megawatt's hearts, yes.
Okay. So technically, I guess that is logic. Okay. Anyways, still had to get through Spike Cave in order to get to that. To Maria, and then that opened the right side of Turtle Rock, and that gave you the first sword. And there's the lamp. Oh my goodness! And the ice rod. Oh, wow. As we suspected, Turtle Rock has been an answer. To many, many, many riddles. Lamp, ice rod, and we know that Bo is in here somewhere. How about another sword? How about another shield? How about another compass? That's less sexy. And there's that bow. It's very strange to sit here an hour and 35 minutes in. Oh, big key to Desert Palace. And think Megawatt has a 1-0 boss lead, but relkin feels like item-wise, progression-wise, just really has quite an edge right now. It's just a step or two ahead of Megawatt.
Yeah, that sword is a really big deal right now for relkin because we know there's 2 in GT.
Yeah, we're
so
completely locked by it.
Yeah. So that's...
Oh, how about that blocked
God,
all of it?
Aubrey!
So that sword is the key to the seed right now. Which means Megawatt really needs to get the Spike Cave.
Yeah, that sword locked all the swords. Well, that sword was actually in TR, which Megawatt does have access to. The big key of Misery Mire.
Yeah.
Wow, GT
Megawatt
with
does
everything.
have access, but needs that Cane of Samaria from Spike Cave in order to get over to where the sword is at.
That's right. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking.
It's all right. I don't think all the time. I just keep talking, and people smile and nod. It's great. Chat is all smiling and nodding right now, right? Yeah. Okay. Relkin is gonna check out the big chest, which has a small key to Ganon's Tower. Good news for Megawatt. Has the mirror. It was just on Berna. I think he's thinking about Spike Cave here. Yep. And Megawatt is on their way to unlocking this puzzle. And I'd say that they're probably okay on hearts as well. Just barely. Relkin knocks out Armos on ice.
Pigita Hera? My goodness.
Oh, how about one of each? Let's have a compass, a map, and a big key all right there.
GT was just loaded.
And
like
Swamp,
ridiculously loaded.
Yes, absolutely loaded. And didn't even go up. Let's see here. We knew Swamp was a pendant. So there was no new information there. Oh, it is going up now. Might as well go up. You've got the bow. You know it's going to be required. You've got to unlock that hole for Ganon. So might as well go up and get those last chests. You're here. First, you must face.
I am pretty sure we are a pod big key away from go mode.
Oh, really? That close, huh? Yeah, because that's desert at this point. And Hera. Because Eastern Palace and Skull Woods ended up being our other pendants. And at this point, we could kill Mothula, but we've not yet found that big key to Eastern. I don't think. And no, Megawatt did.
Yeah, we don't even
We don't need it
at this point,
Nope.
unless the big key to pod is in there.
Yeah.
But if that big key to pod is at the top of this tower, I think
Yeah. That's
that could be
probably
close to end game.
GG.
Although Megawatt is making the right calls, so
Absolutely.
Relkin certainly can't, relax. He needs to keep on booking.
Absolutely. And Relkin is pretty far ahead, having already searched both sides of GT basement that were necessary. But we'll have to go back and finish off blind. That's going to be a couple of minutes. So that's a little bit of opportunity. And Megawatt finds that sword. And an hour and 40 minutes in. But it was just such a huge thing for Relkin to do that search before going to Meyer. Because that's got to be a lot less sexy of a thought process right now. It's like going back there. But Megawatt's doing it.
Well, he doesn't have a choice. That's pretty much all that's left for him.
That's true.
Because of so much progression being in Ganon's tower, he's bottlenecked.
Yeah.
I think he knew he had to find that sword before he could get in there.
It's a fairly bold prediction you got there, Alasun. We'll have to see on that one. I think you might be right, though. Whoever kills Ganon first probably will win this. Oh, got the wall glitch there.
If that pod big key is in here, that is go moding 6 dungeons.
That's pretty insane.
The seed certainly can't make it that easy on our runners.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a bit. Oh, no. So the search for the pod big key will continue on. I'm not sure I'd call this easy. They went through quite a bit early on of finding. It wasn't necessarily difficult as much as, a lot of garbage areas, because so many of our needed items seed were just concentrated in a few areas.
Yeah, swamp is 100% dead at this point. We are not going to need to open up that dam.
Yep.
So they definitely know they don't have to worry about swamp.
Which also puts Sawhouse out. Yeah. They've mostly cleared out Eastern Palace already. Everything but the boss. So that one's pretty much out of the way. And they mostly cleared out Skull Woods except for the boss.
Yeah, Relkin hasn't dipped many dungeons at all. He dipped Turtle Rock and Desert, but he hasn't actually, neither one of them have gone into Ice Palace.
Yeah.
He did finish Skull Woods. He didn't go into Misery Mire at all. So he's definitely not double dipping as much as Megawatt is going to. But I don't know. This is interesting.
Yeah, no, for something like this, I mean, obviously Relkin's going to have a couple minutes lead on Megawatt.
Did you see that hint?
No, I did not.
The big chest in Ice Palace contains the big key to
wow!
pod.
Oh my god. We are in
This
Nova.
just got interesting because Megawatt has that big key. Relkin does not. Relkin has not gone in Eastern Palace and got that big key.
Oh my god.
Oh, this just got interesting.
That is really interesting. It's going to be such a question if Megawatt gets that hint also. Oh,
sorry, I just almost swallowed my tongue when I saw that hint.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, but I don't blame you. Relkin now going to finish off behind. But yeah, you got to think that Relkin is not at all going to think of is like going to Eastern is one of the last things that Relkin will do. He's going to clear out all of those crystal dungeons first.
Yeah.
I would think.
If Megawatt gets that hint before he does anything else, the game's over.
I think
It's
so.
done.
I think
Because
absolutely.
Relkin is gonna have to full clear everything. Megawatt is just gonna have to clear out bosses.
Yeah.
That is insane. Wow. And I was just gonna say the only thing that could pose a problem is if that Ice Palace big key is something important, just as he read that hint. Oh my word.
Wow. Oh man. It's like watching a car crash about to happen and you just kind of can't look away right now. And it's like they're going so fast because they're in such a commanding lead, but it's hard to think that he's going to swerve the right way right now.
Yeah, Recitador is definitely right. That hint is actually like a nail in the coffin to Relkin. Like that was probably the worst possible hint he could see, even though game-wise it helps him. We know just from watching what Megawatt has done and knowing what Megawatt has, that is a really bad hint to have in this game right now.
Yeah, I mean, if Megawatt gets the hint, then I think they're screwed. I don't think that hint itself changed any of Relkin's play. I would think. The only thing it would change is the fact that Relkin is probably actually not going to go into Ice Palace right away. They're going to do other dungeons first. But then that question is Relkin going to do Eastern before doing Ice Palace, or is he going to risk Ice Palace having that big key as a possibility before, because Ice Palace is one of those, you can get every other chest. You can get the full there.
The only saving grace for Relkin right now is that hint is in an extremely trolly place. Now, Megawatt has checked a lot of entrances, so he knows that it's probably not going to be an item location. Whether or not he banks on that being a hint is going to really determine what happens. Because I was actually really surprised to see Relkin go and check that entrance. So it could be possible that Megawatt never even goes and checks that hint. However, already having that Ice Palace big key is a big deal. Like, with or without the hint, having that key in his hand is bad.
Yeah.
And if Relkin doesn't check that big cross
Ice Palace is, I would imagine Ice Palace is probably pretty high on Megawatt's list.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the longer Megawatt stays out of Ice Palace, the better it is for Relkin. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is a race.
Absolutely. Such a unique race, too. Like, you just don't see this kind of, like it's a logic race.
Yeah, definitely. And it just takes one little thing to completely change the outcome of the game. Like, Relkin has been first to a lot of the important items that Megawatt didn't have. Was first to GT, was pretty much first to all the progressive items. But Megawatt holding that big key to Ice Palace completely swings the game in his favor.
Yeah, another interesting twist on this to think about. I mean, he's clearing out Hera, and I can't help but think, but just thinking about places that are left. I don't know if he's even thinking about entrances at this point, but he's going after one of the 5-6 crystals. But ice is the other one, so I don't know if that's going to be a factor whatsoever at this point, especially considering its entrance. But something to think about. I was going to say making quick work out of Moldorm with that gold sword. But it looks like the butter slipped on the floor, and Relkin slipped into a pit. Oh, second time's the charm, though. And Relkin, in just a blink of an eye, has now finished off a third boss. While Megawatt is still going up GT at this point. Theoretically, at least like 5-6 minutes behind, if not more, from a gameplay perspective. But as we know, like, will that 5-6 minutes be enough, depending upon what that clue is? So like you said, like that's a lot of dungeons to go mode if Megawatt gets that hint.
Yeah,
Or happens.
If Megawatt goes straight to Ice Palace, I want to say that that's pretty much the end.
Yeah.
Because now Relkin is on that hunt for that Ice Palace big key.
Yep.
Because he knows that's all he needs for go mode.
It's interesting. I thought that Relkin was about to go clear Trinex and instead decided to grab that chest. Is literally just like, I think that this actually might bode well a bit. I'm not sure what to think about the fact that like I'm a little surprised he's not just focusing on getting through the crystal dungeons he can and hoping that he finds it along the way. This is not the shortest check in the world, but I guess it was just kind of an impulse thing at that point.
Yeah, but he's hoping to be able to go mode all of those dungeons, just pulling that key. So I think he's trying to make choices that are just one-off on the off chance that he's going to find that big key before having to full clear the dungeons, especially like pod and things like that, because he has only gotten one chest in pod, so he still has a lot of that to check. So he's definitely hoping to get lucky and pull that big key before he steps foot in any of the dungeons. Okay, Megawatt didn't mirror to check that entrance.
He did not.
He doesn't have that information about Ice Palace. Looks like he's heading to clean up Misery Maya right now.
Yeah, makes sense. Has that. Samaria still is, feeling good about where it's led to and knows what you need for that. So just going to go ahead and clear out Misery Mire. Oh, Swamp Cow Small Key will not be used as seed.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. And that at least Relkin has going for him. He knows he's not going to have to go in Swamp Palace at all. He's not going to have to worry about checking the dam item and things like that. So that marks off a significant amount of checks right there. Eastern is right at the 5-6 flute spot. So hopefully he just gambles on Eastern, which I don't see any runner doing.
I don't see it either.
Point.
Yeah.
Although typically in cross keys, you kind of assume that you're going to have to dip at least one. Oh, he's right there. Oh, God, he's right there.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to Misery Mire.
Makes sense.
I kind of always have in the back of my mind in cross keys that you're going to have to dip pretty much every dungeon. So, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to get it. I think that's going to be a last location.
Yeah. I fully agree.
Was the big key in it? The big key wasn't in the big chest, so he doesn't even need that big key. And if he doesn't find that big key, that's going to be better for him, because then he's not going to... He just needs to go in there and check those chests. It was in the big key chest after the dark rooms.
Yeah. But you got to think, like, even though he doesn't have to do Dark Cross and get that big key, the fact that he doesn't have the big key is going to further scare him off from thinking about gambling Eastern. Because right now it's only
100%.
4 checks instead of 6.
Yeah.
And Dark Cross is not that convenient. Probably not too bad. It's a long way to go for 1 check, and there's a lot of other checks you can do at this. And an hour and 54 minutes in, Megawatt has completed a 2nd dungeon.
Yeah, I see him just going from here to Skull Woods and then dropping down to Ice Palace, just given how the map is laid out.
Skull's a pendant, so I'm not sure he'd go there.
Oh, yeah. Yep, you're right. He's going straight for Ice. Nope, he's going for Skull. It's a pretty quick boss kill, so I don't blame him for this one.
I think I do, but I'm okay.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know this is a pendant yet.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yep. Just now looking at this tracker, he has not seen that. And that's what butter does to moths. Don't try it at home, kids. And with that, Megawatt does have full information.
Not
Relkin,
quite.
not quite? Oh, okay. Not quite.
He didn't pick up that pod map, so he didn't get. He doesn't know.
Okay.
Well, he's not going to Ice.
I think he's going to Eastern.
Yep. Now he's going to have full information.
So the irony at this point is that, like, this is kind of the best thing that could have happened for Relkin. Just to buy him enough potential time. Literally, Megawatt is just doing extra dungeons that are completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'd still say
Fortunately, he's already cleared
most of
a
it.
lot of this.
Yeah, this is fast. I guess I'm looking for the silver lining to this giant hurricane of awkward badness headed towards Relkin, who is having some connection issues. Apologies for our technical difficulties at the moment. We'll look into that. Megawatt. Now, one thing I don't remember, and chat have helped me out with this, if Jinxie doesn't remember. Does Megawatt know about the dam being behind GT?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe not. I think so.
And Relkin has cleared mire. Megawatt has found out about the pendants. Oh, Relkin leaving the area of EP. It just hurts. Yeah, Megawatt just going down the list, clearing out desert now.
The location of the dam is important because if you don't drain the dam, you can't have access to Swamp Palace. So that immediately takes it off the table because it's behind the 7 crystals. So in order to open Ganon's tower, you have to beat the crystals required to beat Ganon. So without being able to drain that dam, that means they're not going to have to worry about Green Pendant Swamp. That saves them from checking like over 10 items, turning in the Green Pendant and all that. So it does save a lot of time. So it is important where the dam location is. Relkin taking down the moth. This might lead him into Eastern Palace. He's not going to dip ice until he has that big key.
Yeah. Going to Hera. So, like I said, Megawatt literally just going down the list.
Megawatt is going to ice.
Not quite yet.
He's banking on ice, big key being in ice.
Yeah. Oh, you said Megawatt. Relkin is going to ice.
Oh, sorry, Relkin. Yeah.
Yeah. So could be in here. Could be behind Pyramid Fairy. I don't know what overworld chests are still left out there in the world, if there's anything there. But yeah, you can get everything else here. This Megawatt makes short work of Moldrum. And we have eliminated the world's Moldrum population at this point. It's interesting, Megawatt has not cleared Hera basement yet, and since he doesn't have that clue, I wonder if he goes back in. No? Oh, he doesn't have the key. That's a good point. That would do it. And back at Kakariko.
I think this is it.
Thank you, Saru. He skipped the. That's right. He saw the red rupee downstairs and basically just mirrored out. He noped out. Something that Relkin probably won't nope out. Relkin will cold stare out. And Megawatt is now also in ice. Yeah, you got to think that this, like the only chance Relkin has, just looking like any scenario of a chance for Relkin, and it would be that Megawatt for some reason decides to skip this chest. I would be shocked, but that's basically the only hope that Relkin has at this point. So, but yeah, there's really no reason not to. It's on the way. You need an item still. You are not in go mode. He's checking other things. He is certainly not go moding this dungeon.
Yeah, he's definitely not skipping any chests in here.
Nope. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Chad. Like the Spike Cave, which held Arcanus and Maria, was definitely seemed to be logically behind having a metric ton of heart containers and bottles and a mail upgrade, but not that net.
Interesting that he wouldn't just be cold stare while he was there.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that too. It's going to 5 though.
There it is.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! This might. Is this enough time?
No.
No.
Nope. He has to go all the way back through ice.
He's got to go all the way back through ice. And still, they both have to clear pod. Megawatt still needs to clear Try next, but that's not hard and not that does not take much time. Because all you gotta do is head over to the pegs over on Village of Outcasts and just head in there. It's maybe a minute and a half, something like that, but mhm. And there's the bomb jump. That's in there. Oh, got the hook shot out. You know what that means. Goes through and
That
go
is-
mode. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes, 9 seconds. 2 hours, 9 minutes. A little bit longer than that. We are in the go mode.
And that's no mode for Relkin.
Mm-hmm. As in, no chance to catch up in this seed.
Yeah, it would take a lot of unforeseen circumstances for him to catch up, unfortunately.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I mean, I'm going to say there's maybe at least 3 minutes difference right now.
Yeah. That's a lot better than it was. But that's still quite a long time when you're actually in go mode. And both of them have cleared GT. You know, certainly not an issue when it comes to gear, you know, with that butter sword, silver arrows, plenty of hearts, at least blue mail. Yeah, Ganon's not really going to be an issue this seed.
Looks like Megawatt is heading straight to clean out pod.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's a little bit more out of the way. Turtle Rock is very fast. See, Relkin having a smidge of trouble with that bomb jump. I understand having a smidge of trouble with that bomb jump, as I've only ever pulled it off once.
I feel like Relkin might have tilted a little bit with that big key location, because I'm sure in the back of his mind he's thinking that Megawatt had already been to Eastern.
Yeah, and with your philosophy, what you said is that you expect to dive all the dungeons. I imagine that when one of the dungeons is logically locked away from you, it probably heightens the other two as far as likelihood to be important. And there's go mode for Relkin. 2 hours 12 minutes. And so you're right, just about a 3-minute gap in between these two. As Megawatt makes his way to the King of the Helm of Souls. And like most bosses in this game, has got to be extremely grumpy being trapped inside a tiny room. Goldstar's probably doubly annoyed at being trapped inside ice and then inside a tiny room with absolutely nothing of interest to do. We have simultaneous boss kills. And Megawatt is going to head for Turtle Rock.
As Relkin's going to head for pod.
Mm-hmm. And Turtle Rock is going to take a lot less time than pod. Let's see. 17 heart containers. Got that half magic. Couple of bottles easy access to blue potions. Like this seer is just basically easy mode at this point. I say that, knowing that it would still not be easy for me, but that's why I'm not on this side of. And Megawatt has initiated with double necks. Let's see if double necks has double mint gum. Still no. Okay. One necks. Uninex. And now no necks.
And that makes our 7th crystal for Megawatt. He will be off to fight the big pig here in his vanilla location shortly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Relkin now on to Helmasaur King. I needed a Turtle Rock. Did make up a little bit of time for Relkin, but I think it would take a fall to even have a reasonable shot at catching up at this point.
It would take a fall on the last phase of Ganon for him to catch up.
Absolutely. We've seen it. Ganon is not always free. Can't relax. But you don't make it this far in a tournament like this without knowing how to kill the big pig. And with this level of equipment, there's not really a whole lot of room for errors to occur.
But they're both definitely going to be on Ganon at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, considering where Relkin was at like 10 minutes ago, this is probably only, it's going to be like, maybe 2 minutes between the two on dot duns? If that. Maybe a little longer. I guess we'll see.
Wow, nice double.
And, man, to end things off, put your GGs in chat, people. Megawatt is about to cross that bridge. At 2 hours, 18 minutes, 22 seconds, roughly. We have a winner. It's probably not the greatest feeling in the world to enter the Ganon fight just as your opponent duns.
Yeah, it's going to be like super close, like a minute.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these guys gave us quite the interesting race today, so make sure that you give both these guys a follow.
Yeah, definitely. This was a seed. Oh, a triple too on
Nice.
Ganon.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's like a minute and 3 seconds difference.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by our winner, Megawatt. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. GG's.
Excellent.
That was an interesting.
Yes, it was.
Would you like
very
to know
different.
something else even more interesting?
Oh, yes.
What's that?
If you would have mirrored at the top of the pyramid and went into Vanilla Agate Tower, there was a hint that told you where the pod big key was.
Are you serious?
Swear
Yep.
to God.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness.
Oh, well, so Relkin barely finished behind you, and let's set this up because Relkin did that. But the
Right.
difference was that you had already cleared part of Eastern, and Relkin had not. So while Relkin knew where the key was, yeah, but Relkin did not have the Ice Palace big key.
Oh, wait, where was
Because
that?
that was
I
in
got that.
Eastern.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense.
And so he got the information, but had no idea where to go. He couldn't utilize it. And so, he was probably a couple of minutes ahead of you and everything else at that point. One of the big
I'm
things.
not surprised about that.
Yeah. Well, but some of it was just kind of a weird coincidence because a lot of it came down to, in my mind, that flute. When you got the flute, you used it pretty quickly to start exploring Meyer. While Relkin actually held off a little bit and managed to get that sword out of Turtle Rock first. Got that Samaria. And so when he went to the Meyer area, was able to immediately open up that Meyer entrance. And that just kind of, led to GT, which was where the last big horde of everything was.
Yeah, I was very, very strongly suspecting GT to have just a complete load of stuff that I would need. I didn't have any swords by that point. I didn't have, I'm missing a bunch of other stuff on top of the Meyer big key and the bow that I was already told were in there.
Yeah. And so
I
it
was
had the
figuring,
lamp,
okay,
it had
I
the
got
ice rod.
Yeah. And I found my flute. It's all right, I gotta just go straight for these entrances because one of them's gonna be GT. And I think the chance that it's in Meyer is just small enough that I could probably get away with doing this instead of waiting around to find a sword. Because, at that point, I'm just thinking my first sword's gonna be in GT anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up being that really dumb sequence.
Yeah. Well, the first sword wasn't, but the other three were.
Yep.
So that was
three swords.
Yeah, we're locked behind that.
It's pretty funny. That was one of the two things that stuck out to me to see. The other part of it was the gloves, mitts, and hammer all showing up in a span of 2 minutes on top of the fire rod. That was a little ridiculous.
That Thieves' Town was just absolutely loaded. Those three things in the front, along with upstairs we had... Is that flute? Wait. Something upstairs. There was another required item. I'm forgetting it right now.
From Hera?
No, it was upstairs in Thieves' Town, wasn't it?
Oh.
No, it was the back of Thieves' Town. That was the flute.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was the flute, yeah.
All right, so we are joined by our other second-place finisher, Relkin. Congratulations, just barely behind. So what were your thoughts on that seed?
Well, GT gave you almost everything you needed, but it didn't have the Ice Palace big key, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
I made the early Eastern dip, so when I eventually made my way into Ice Palace, which was way, way, way too late, I found my pod big key and was a little bit upset because I had already cleared Eastern and Skullwoods prior because I didn't know if they were crystal. And I only needed to find one more crystal, and they were both pendants. Ugh.
Yeah, this was absolutely fascinating to watch, Relkin, because you had the information from clearing out, using the mirror up on pyramids and finding that clue about where that key was. But Megawatt did not have the information, but had the key that you needed. And so we were literally just sitting there thinking oh my goodness, when is Relkin actually going to go to Eastern? Because it seems like a last location area.
100%, yes.
Yeah.
Relkin, did you find the Eastern or Skullwoods maps, or especially the Eastern map, I guess? I had to guess you did, because that would explain a lot about why you put off Eastern. Super long.
I know that my last crystal that I figured out was Meyer, and that filled in other information for me. So no, I did not find the Eastern map. At least I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you find the Palace of Darkness map then? Because I never found that, and that's what made me have to go, try my luck on finding a crystal in Skullwoods and Eastern.
Oh, I think it was Zora Ledge. I think I remember going to get that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
I skipped that.
Yep.
That could have saved me a lot of trouble.
Another thing that made this close in the end, Megawatt, without that complete information, started clearing cleared the 2 pendants you could get to. The dam ended up being behind Ganon's tower, so we never saw anything on that.
Yep.
But,
Saw that hint. That was
I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that all 3 swords were in Swamp Palace, and that was gonna be your go mode. I wish that on you, and I'm sorry.
I mean, all 3 swords were somewhere for sure.
Yeah, it was gross.
yeah,
It
this
was
scene was
crazy.
it was incredibly clumpy with items. That right side ice area, ice cavern, on both the light and dark side, having that Thieves Town and having the desert and all that stuff. It's just all kinds of items just really clumped together a lot.
So Relkin, did you also like those gloves, mitts, and hammer?
Yeah,
Did you
all over there in that pocket of area in the bottom right.
Did you have your mirror when you checked it too?
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. All 3 of those items just showing up within 2 minutes was just completely, it just blew my mind. Like, oh man, what am I gonna do next?
Yep.
And then
No, this
Ganon's
isn't-
tower was loaded.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was expecting that, to be fair.
Oh
Based on
yeah.
how
I wasn't
much...
expecting it to be quite as loaded because, we hadn't seen a lot of the dungeons, like specifically Ice Palace. There was still things we were missing in Pod that we hadn't seen. Swamp Palace was off the map at that point. So I was like, wow, it had literally everything. And then when Relkin mirrored and checked that hint, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't remember to mirror and check that entrance, because that was one of the things that was on my mind. It's like, okay, this could be GT, but I just gotta find either the cape or 2 swords first.
Oh.
And as I got closer,
If you had checked that hint, you would have been in no mode instantly, like after
Yep.
Ganon's tower.
Yep. Well, I mean, I still had to figure out that pod was a crystal, which could have been avoided if I just grabbed the map off of Zora Ledge, but I digress. So I still, in that situation, after seeing the hint, probably would have also still dipped Eastern Skullwoods.
I think at that point you probably would have just
I would have gone with Ice Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
I
hope
would've said-
that the crystal was pod. But yeah.
To be fair, I'm really glad that it worked out the way because it made it really, really close. Like, just missing that map and Relkin missing the key in Eastern, it made the race so close. Like everybody was super psyched, and it was it was a really hype race. It was really awesome.
Absolutely. 59 seconds between you two. And typically in that situation, you get into a go mode and it's like the last couple of minutes to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's kind of like just a race to do all the same things. Like you guys didn't finish on the last dungeons, and then it was just a race to get over there and kill the pig. And Megawatt just happened to edge out on that. It was exciting. You gave us an amazing race. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, GG's Relkin. That was it was pretty good.
Yeah,
GG's
definitely.
Megawatt.
GG's to both of you. It was fantastic.
All right. Good luck. Good luck next round against either P Trainer or Let's Megawatt.
Thank you.
And, sadly,
Definitely
this
gonna
is
need it
the
against
end of the
either one of
road
them.
for Relkin. You gave us a great tournament. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah, this is. I did not think I'd have this much fun. I like my opinion of cross keys has been completely changed over the course of this whole tournament.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts from anyone else? All right. Well, thank you. Make sure you give our racers a follow. Make sure you also give our trackers a follow. Thank you so much. to Tomotak and Semimis. Thank you, Jinxie Girl, for commentating with me. And thanks everybody for watching the race, and keep on watching. We've got more matches coming up tomorrow. Make sure to check that schedule. I've been DH Dom.